Hi everyone. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to come on and say I wish you the most amazing 2023 and on. I want to thank you for supporting me through the year. I know I don't show my face very often, but I will try and do that more often in the coming year. I think we are going to have a very interesting 2023. I think that obviously there is a lot of good and bad that we can expect. We have very intense astrology this year, the most intense astrology since 2020. But we have some really good things happening as well. For example, we have Jupiter now in Aries, starting a brand new cycle around the zodiac. So it's a brand new beginning for everyone, really. If you think about your life in the last 12 years, Jupiter will have come kind of full circle for you from your house of Aries to where it is now again. It's bringing gift, lots of blessings. It's bringing growth opportunities, and it's also bringing wisdom. So you can look at that house, and that is also the house where the North Node will be moving into in the middle of the year, bringing more connections and moving us more towards that independence in that area. But before I get to that, that's the one very positive thing as well. But we also have the Uranus-Saturn square that we've had all of last year, the previous year as well. That's been very frustrating, keeping us very blocked or restricted in some way in our lives. So in some area of your life, you felt frustrated, blocked, like you can't move enough. There's somewhere where you need more freedom, more flexibility, maybe a pattern you needed to break away from, or a person or a job, or wanted to make a move you couldn't make, or whatever it may have been for you. It could even have been something very personal and internal for you. That square is now moving into a sextile this year, which is so much more harmonious. And it's going to, and this is happening in March. So if there's those things that you really want to make happen this year, that you really want to forward now, you want to wait till around that time to really move it forward. And so that's a really positive, wonderful thing. So there's a release there. There's a breakthrough there. We also have a Mars retrograde right now, also, of course, till the middle of January, which is really helping us to think where we are putting our energy. Is it worth it? What are we passionate about? Are we working smartly? And really reassessing what is worth our energy as well. And also dealing with our self-control and anger issues that we may have could be coming up at this time in that area for your life. But really, we have so much happening this year. It's a very intense year. We will have eclipses in the Taurus and Scorpio axis, as well as the Aries and Libra axis, because the nodes will be moving into Aries and Libra in the middle of the year. So as well as all the financial changes that'll be happening in the world and the war and peace energies that we have, this will continue because both Taurus and Scorpio, as well as Aries and Libra, are ruled by Mars and Venus. So it's definitely an energy exchange, moving from fixed to cardinal energy, from earth to fire, and from water to air. But it's still dealing with balance. It's still dealing with war and peace. It's still dealing with relationships. So we're still going to have a lot of relationship things to deal with, money, balance, all of that. Me versus you, and so forth. So just continue with the work and the healing and the forgiving. Saturn will be moving into Pisces, of course, as well. And this can bring up a lot of water issues, but it's really a sign of release and endings. So it's really a time to really purify and detox your lymphatic system, and really focus on what you put into your body and what you are feeding yourself and nutrifying yourself with. okay, and staying away from anything that's deceptive. But we also have Pluto dipping its toe into Aquarius this year. So we will have, for a short period, until it permanently moves into the sign of Aquarius around 2024. But we will get an idea of what that transit could bring for us. And so that will be very interesting as well to see. It gives us a bit of foreshadowing there as well. But I think especially that there's a fire in our belly this year with the North Node moving into Aries. So we're becoming more assertive. We're standing up for our rights. We're fighting for our freedoms. We are going to want to take more charge of our lives and initiate those changes that we want to make, that we've been waiting to make. We're going to be more self-confident. We're going to tap into that sense of self. What makes us tick? Where do we want to focus our energy on? And especially now with this Mars retrograde, we've been given opportunity to really see where we want to put our energy and who we want to put our energy towards as well. And so they say where your focus goes, your energy flows. So it's important this year to see where your focus is and where it needs to be, and to focus on fully being your authentic self and expressing yourself and standing up for yourself and your rights and your freedoms. So we are moving forward this year. We are changing. Oh yes, and the Mercury retrogrades are in all earth signs this year. At least the first 3 of them. The last one I'm not really spending too much time on right now because it's at the really, really end of the year. So to me, it's kind of more into next year. But I would say it's all happening in Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So we're dealing with practical solutions in our everyday lives, in our everyday structures and material worlds around us. So we're making changes, we're initiating, and we are standing up for ourselves and being assertive. So this is wonderful. So I recommend really purifying your thoughts, really getting clear on what it is that you desire and where you want to take your life. How are you going to create the life that you want? It starts, of course, by accepting that which we cannot control and surrendering the rest to God. It also starts with accepting responsibility for the reality in our lives that we have created, and forgiving, letting go, and taking control of what we can, and realizing that we cannot control others or what they decide, taking control of what we can in a healthy and balanced way, and making choices moving forward, practical solutions moving forward. So I wish you the best, most curious and wonder-filled 2023. May the sun shine bright on you this day. May there be blessings coming your way. Until next time. Bye-bye. Welcome, Pisces rising. This is your 2023 Astrology Horoscope potentials. Now, Pluto has been in your 11th house of Capricorn since 2008. Now, Pluto usually begins by breaking down the area of life it moves through and then rebuilds it, transformed and renewed, and more aligned with you and your truth. The area of life that Pluto moves through will bring power and control issues into your awareness. You will relearn and redo power and control in that area of your life. Now, you have been passing through Pluto's complete transformation since 2008 in the area of friends, social reform, goals, political views, as well as the future. Now, Pluto has been in this area now for 14 years, and it's coming to an end of its transit here. So it's a potency point. So a lot of this could feel like it's getting to like a peak. But Pluto here can change your political views of the world. the groups you belong to. So you can think back over the last 14 years how it's affected you. Your friends, clubs, co-workers, and business financials. The plans for the future may have changed with Pluto here. You may have found the goals that you had were unrealistic or not worth pursuing. Or you could meet powerfully influential people during this time or work alongside them. Or you could be working with money or large financial institutions. You could seek out friendships during this time that are deeper. A person or a traumatic event could have deeply moved you during this time or changed the course and direction of your life, or could still do that. Pluto here can also sometimes indicate a death of a friend or of a family member. There can be an inheritance. There is more probability to have intense sexual experiences or obsessions with coworkers, or for a friendship to develop deeper into a love relationship. Do not be manipulated into doing anything criminal during this time, or being led onto the wrong path. Let the connections end that needs to end now, and let the unrealistic goals end now. The connections you have made during this transit will have a profound and direct impact on your growth as a person. Now, Pluto will ingress into your 12th house of Aquarius on the 23rd of March for a brief stay, moving in and out of Capricorn and Aquarius until its permanent stay by the end of 2024. But for now, we can get a taste of what this could bring. And this is the area of self-sabotage, mental health, endings, and spirituality. So Pluto here can break down unhealthy psychological patterns that subconsciously control you, addictions, and their wound source can be exposed and brought to the surface to deal with, and forgive and heal to transform. Does alcohol or too much work or drugs or worry control you? Therefore, many past issues can be triggered. It can feel as if you're having a powerful effect on others as well, but that they cannot quite understand you, as if you cannot come across the way you intend, or you come across differently. Sometimes this is caused by selfish behavior. Sometimes this is caused by childish behavior patterns. You can have secret enemies with Pluto here, sexual obsessions, bed pleasures. Pluto here can indicate a death or an ending of some sort. It is important to speak to someone now if you feel depressed or like you're alone or in a dark place. Some can become much more private and secluded with this transit or feel alienated and rejected by others. The only way you can free yourself from the need for validation and of the subconscious survival patterns that control you is by purging these old childish patterns every time they pop up and get triggered. This is for your own soul's growth, to confront your shadow sides that hide you and that's been hiding from yourself, by yourself, so that you can begin rebuilding your sense of self again, especially by the time Pluto ingresses your first house. But this is a great time, a powerful time of connecting to God, to dealing with forgiveness, to really go for therapy and deal with any psychological issues that you need to go for psychotherapy, to deal with any mental health issues. But there's an ending here, and there's a powerful spiritual connection, the spiritual world and life after death. The meaning of life can become much more strong for you during this time. And the material world will not be as important at this time. You can also go through great financial changes or changes in your view of money and the power of it. Now, Neptune has been in your first house of Pisces since 2011 and will be here until 2025. With Neptune here, you may have been experiencing a more cloudy reality, as if you start your days a bit unclear, or your outlook and attitude could be very fluctuating. Or you could be a little bit more like a go with the flow type of energy rather at times. You can be living in almost a deception of reality, as if you're pretending to be happy when you're not, or that you have a different persona almost around everyone, and that your interactions with the public and your partner and others in your life are changing because you're not necessarily yourself. And you're possibly unconsciously putting on a mask in order to relate to others easier. You may not even realize you're doing this, but others may. And their reactions could stir you to awaken to this fact that you need to know who you are. Or you can attract people that are attracted to the fake you. You can be very intuitive under this transit. You can feel others' energy more strongly and possibly be more allergy prone or addiction prone. Staying away from pharmaceuticals and drugs or alcohol that is become out of control is very important. Also, regularly detoxing is advised, especially now with Pluto also entering your 12th house. You can be much more compassionate and kind and see everyone through rose-colored glasses. Therefore, do not fall for scams or people that want to use you. Some can feel unworthy with this transit, and this can have you seek out patterns and connections that feel stronger than you. And this can at times put you in a position where an unhealthy relationship can take place, where codependency can lurk. At times you can find it more difficult to make clear decisions, and you could have a stronger tendency to people please and self-sacrifice your needs for those of others. Stay in relationships that you should actually be leaving, as you could have a wanting to save others' brain under Neptune's hypnotizing gaze, which in time will create resentment and unforgiveness and time wasted. You could pretend to the world that you are living a life you love, when in fact you do not. You could be ill and not inform anyone. Much of your days can be spent in disappointment if your ideals are unrealistic. So allow Neptune's transit here to get back to the real you. Uranus has been in your 3rd house of Taurus since 2018 and will be until 2026. You may have been experiencing much changes, genius ideas, innovation, and solutions and unusual occurrences regarding your mind, your views, your understanding of things, opinions, skills, talents, your commute to work, your neighborhood, and so forth. Uranus here brings divine guidance and brilliant ideas, innovation, as well as discoveries. You may be much more interested in subjects such as astrology or unusual metaphysical topics that you may not have understood before. You'll be able to understand things now that you may never have understood. You could have much more interests, period, than usual. You may learn new technology or study engineering or architecture or ride a train as a commute to work or for a trip. Or you can have changes in your commute, in your daily appointments, more disruptions and in your schedules, and a change in your neighborhood or many changes in it, such as construction or machinery around it. Maybe you live near a train station or an airport. Your day-to-day routines and people you deal with can change unexpectedly or in unusual ways, or you could work with unusual people or in a more online type of environment, dealing with the public. Your mental attention span can vary, and you may experience more anxiety and restlessness than usual. Some can feel as the world around them is not dependable upon anymore. Your communication habits and manners can change. You may learn to use sign language or a different language, and the tempo of your life can change. You could buy a motorcycle or a vehicle. You're much more accident prone now, so be more cautious when traveling and operating machinery, and also during lightning episodes. A sibling could be going through unusual experiences, or maybe a divorce, or unusual health issues. The little details of life will become more important now, and you will not take as many things for granted anymore. New and interesting people can enter your life. They can come in and exit, or you can work online somehow or meet them online. But this will be a period where you can receive spiritual downloads and mind-expanding experiences. You may have many mental breakthroughs, and studying could be more easier for you than normal, almost as if you have almost like a photogenic memory, even though your attention span may not be as steady as usual. But the area of the mind is being revolutionized with Uranus here. Saturn has been pioneering through your 12th house of Aquarius for almost 3 years and paving the way for Pluto, and will be ingressing Pisces, your first house, on the 7th of March 2023 for almost 3 years. Now, Saturn here has made a complete journey around your chart when it gets here. And you may have been finishing up a lot of things that you haven't dealt with in the last years. It's not usually a great time for brand new projects. Certain aspects of your life can fall away during this time. And sometimes the same manner in which you treated others before no longer works well. You may feel strongly that you need to make changes, even if you are not fully aware of how to proceed. Some can fall into a sadness or grieving or depression with Saturn here. Make sure you speak to someone and go for counseling or therapy if needed. Some can be hospitalized, my apologies, or fall ill in severe cases. Others may be more scheduled or find that they are more secluded or work in seclusion or be restricted in some way or feel restricted. This can also be a father figure or an authority figure. It's time to better take care of your heart, your back, your calves, your ankles and feet more during this time. It will be a time of karmic endings where you will also be needing to look at what may have worked and what may not have worked for you, especially in the last few years, to heal the wounds that need healing, to forgive and move on, to cut your losses and move on. Don't blame or judge or point fingers, but just allow that which needs to dissolve, to forgive, to grieve, and to allow yourself to deal with any pain or wounding associated with the past. You are tying up loose ends now to make room for a new beginning and a new order of life to begin. Now, Saturn will ingress Pisces from March in your first house. You can gain more responsibility in your life with Saturn here. Circumstances and interactions can cause you to mature internally. At times, it can feel like the weight of the world is upon you, or you may feel more pessimistic or less joyful at times, more introverted or shy. Sometimes you can give birth with Saturn here, or your ability to move or your mobility can change or be more restrained. You can feel held back in some way. Saturn here wants you to turn inward, to work on your internal world. What do you really want your life to look like? Who are you? What is really your responsibility? Your happiness is your responsibility. So is your attitude and your mental perspective. Change it to work for you and not against you. Utilize this time to optimize the structures in your life to create the life that you want. Restructure the relationships you have to create the life that you want. And it starts by working on yourself first. Specialize, simplify, and work. Apply yourself practically, get advice from someone wise if needed. An authority or a more mature person or parent could play a larger role now. There can be distanced or a separation on some level in close relationships or with family. Also fear or a feeling of a blockage in taking further steps in your life, as if you have to kind of freeze first to address important self issues before continuing on. You may be blocking your own way forward if you do not allow yourself to learn the lessons that Saturn teaches here. Chronic health issues can rear its head with Saturn here, or back issues, or skin, calf, bone, and teeth visits. Some can feel more tired or more withdrawn, or more private, more like a hermit, more serious. It's important to unlearn old patterns and ways of thinking about yourself or expectations that's put on you by others. You could be mastering yourself at this time. You do not need validation from others to be who you are. The period that you have now is for self-introspection and will be an important part of your soul's growth with Saturn's transit here. And no, you're not too old and it's not too late, and you are beautiful. Now, Jupiter is in Aries in your second house until May 16th, and then it will be entering Taurus, your third house. Now, Jupiter here can bring opportunities for better investments, maybe even foreign investments for increase in income or gain in possessions or property, work related to foreign interests, children or studies, getting married or gaining confidence and feeling more confident financially. You may have to spend more money on something or make huge expenditures or spend money on a child or an overseas trip or higher education or a lawsuit of some kind. Jupiter here can be at a lower vibration, an overspender, and can also overindulge in pleasures or comforts and food, as well as alcohol or anything that allows you a form of escape from everyday stress. You may need to start asking, do I really need this, or is this just a want and frivolous? You may, through circumstances, increase your spiritual values and sense of self-worth. How you manage the material world now. Maybe a child increases your self-confidence somehow. And how you manage the material world now will lead to more wisdom and understanding of your inner self, your morals, your beliefs, your values. What's really important? How do you identify with what you own, what you earn, who you're married to, your title? Faithful in little, faithful in much. Overall, a very positive transit that can also open up better work opportunities, as well as business opportunities or property opportunities. While in your third house, as of May, Jupiter here can encourage tolerance towards others' views and of others in your daily environment. You can be more broad-minded. Jupiter here can optimize and grow your connections, your opportunities locally, and assist with positive thinking. You may be planning a trip or taking a new course of learning. You could be writing or reading books, or your mind could be more on spiritual topics and bring in more worldview, expanding opportunities. You may meet someone who's a mentor, or you may be one to someone else. You may learn a new language or meet people from foreign places. You could be spending more time with a child or around younger people. You may buy a new vehicle or think about buying something quite large or out of a large amount. You can benefit now through relatives, friends, siblings, neighbors, as well as children. You could be spending more time planning your vision for the future, making choices and taking training that will help to move you forward towards your dreams. Maybe you travel to Spain with your sister. You may be planning on moving or relocating. You may heal relationships with friends, siblings, or neighbors, or teachers, or a child. There could be something new, like a birth of a child, or just a child being more in your everyday life. You may communicate better and bigger now than the norm. Blessed communications and connections are possible now, new opportunities. You might find your people with this transit, the ones that actually understand you. You could be speaking to someone far away or date someone online, learn a new technology, but you will be more frank, more upfront. So make sure you don't put your foot in your mouth, or that you think before you act or drive or speak too impulsively. Stay open-minded. You don't know everything, and every opportunity in life, every connection, every communication is a moment of present time in which we can learn something. Life seems to just get much happier and better and more positive with Jupiter here. So enjoy. The 1st of June, Jupiter will conjunct the North Node in Taurus, which can bring powerful as well as fortunate connections, a lucky break, an opportunity to act towards your future, a healing, a financial blessing or change, or a modality of healing, or an ultimate release. Mars will begin the year in retrograde, so please also check out the Mars retrograde video. I put the link in the description box below. And Mars will be retrograde till about mid-January in your 4th house of Gemini, where you can experience extreme emotional ups and downs. Sometimes this can involve a family or a parent. Past subconscious feelings can come up now almost explosively. You can spend time moving or working from or on your home. There can be more fighting at home or a sense of wanting to live alone. It can be a feeling as if someone's trying to block you in some way, or maybe even you are blocking yourself in a way. This is a time where it is easier for you or a parent to get injured at home. So be careful of fires, knives in the kitchen, and so forth. Don't leave candles unattended. Try to be more compromising where you can. Avoid being overly bossy and demanding to those around you, because you can act more selfishly under this transit. There can also be a male energy entering the house. There can be more violence and action in your place of birth or ancestral roots, or your home as a child, or the location of your place of birth, as well as your home. As of the 25th of March, Mars will be moving into your 5th house of Cancer. And this is an opportunity where Mars can enhance leadership ability, your drive for power and control, and the urge to succeed can increase. You could start a new relationship at this time, or be more sexual, more romantic, more expressive. It's good to work on a relationship now and try new and exciting things to spice it up if you're in a committed relationship. Or you may partake in sport of some kind. You could start your own business or move your creative hobbies into more of a side hustle. This is also a time where there can be more conflict involving a child, or arguments, and also the possibilities of accidents with them. They could be going through hormonal developments at this time. It's also more possible to be more nitpicky with children or your own creative work. But you'll be much more attentive to detail now and crossing those T's. Avoid being too judgmental, and remind children to be more safe, as they can be more accident prone now as well. Spending more time with your children or around children could be good for you and for them at this time. Now, a child may require more attention or help with more work. In some cases, a child could be starting a job. There's more possibility now for also getting pregnant, or for a child to get pregnant. So if you don't want to be pregnant, be more careful. But this is a strong likelihood that you could meet someone new or have more opportunity to work on your love relationship. So take action and have more fun. This is a time where you really want to focus on incorporating more fun and joy and free time into your life. And then Mars will ingress into your 6th house of Leo as of the 20th of May. And this can also bring arguments and discord in your close one-on-one connections. You can experience more selfishness or competitiveness in your day-to-day work routines with colleagues. You can use this time to work on the relationships or work on a project together while working on the relationships or the communication therein. But it may be better to rather just tackle projects now that you can work on by yourself if you can. In some cases, you can break up. In others, you can start a new relationship now that's more physical. In some cases, this can indicate accidents or work with machinery or the end or beginning or change in your day job or routines. You could be more prone to overworking and be more susceptible for inflammation and health topics connected to sugar. Also, sexual transmitted diseases, balance, headaches, as well as heart issues or any type of inflammation can become an issue at this time. It may be better to try an alternative health option if possible. If you overwork now and you do not create balance in your day-to-day life, the stress will manifest in your physical body. So take better care of your health, exercise, balance. Try a new workout routine that's more mind, body, soul, and holistic. Stay away from sugar and think before you act or operate machinery. It's also a great time to detox in general, especially your lymph. Stand up for yourself if you need to, and don't be your own enemy. From around middle May, but around the 21st of May to be exact, and a few days after, when Mars ingresses Leo, your 6th house, Mars will also be opposing Pluto at 0 degrees, which can indicate the potential for raw passion and intense sexual attractions, as well as the possibility of power struggles and arguments, competition, and even violence. So keep that in your awareness and stay out of conflict or confrontation if you can. If you cannot avoid this, get assistance if needed. Now, a few days after, Mars will square Jupiter in Taurus in the 1st degrees, on which is a good energetic time to forward new projects or initiate things. But this is important to also remember, is to stay realistic and not overdo things or overextend yourself. On the 26th of June, Mars in Leo will square Uranus in Taurus at 21 degrees, and it will be important to remember that new challenges need new solutions, not old ways. There can be a restlessness here or a rebelliousness or wanting to break free from something or someone or a pattern of some kind. It will be important to notice the signs and create change that you can systematically create in order to not completely throw the baby out with the bathwater, waiting until it's too late. You can be more accident prone now, so it's important to work out physically, get rid of the stress and anxiety, but safely, and be more careful using any kind of machinery or electricity. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. Or my kombucha. On the 11th of July, Mars will be moving into your 7th house of Virgo. And this is where there can be more arguments or discord in close one-on-one relationships or one-on-one connections, business partnerships, spousal relations. You can experience more selfishness or competitiveness here, conflict, or you can use this time to work on the relationship or work on a project together whilst working on the relationship, because this is where you will be able to work on your communication as well. In some cases, this can indicate a breakup. In others, you can start a new relationship now that's more physical. In some cases, this can indicate legal action. Regardless, the tendency to act against one's own best interest can also rear its head at this time. So take care of your health and think before you act or operate machinery. You are rethinking your relationships here, as well as your partnering. So any relationship imbalances could be coming up at this time. Now, Mars will ingress Libra in your 8th house on the 27th of August, where you may have been reworking or not reworking, where you will be working and thinking about your joint investments, resources, accounts, your spouse, your trust in general, possibly issues with the law or changes connected to litigation. Mars here gives a do or die energy, and this brings in topics of other people's money, taxes, loans, wills, legacies, alimony, working with it or taking out a loan, or arguing about joint resources. This could indicate investing into something or starting a new partnership or ending one. This could indicate sex or intimacy that is profound and sort of life-changing for you. Or you may be rethinking your will and what you would like to leave behind one day, financially, but also your legacy or your imprint on others. You could just be a lot more or have a much stronger libido at this time. A dramatic accident or event or person that completely changes your life or the way you perceive it can happen now. A death and a rebirth in this area is taking place. So this can be a part of your life that's ending, or a part of how you deal with intimacy, sex, and trauma from the past. So this is also a time where you can take action on forgiveness or action regarding any wounds that's being triggered in order for you to bring it to the surface and deal with it. Now, in the first week of October, Mars will conjunct the South Node in Libra and oppose the North Node in Aries, also squaring Pluto. But Mars here can indicate withdrawing from physical confrontation. Energy levels can feel more depleted, more passive-aggressive. This can also indicate putting your gun down in relationships, a ceasefire, giving up or giving in, ending it or healing, and letting go of habits that no longer work constructively for you. This can also deal for you with funding, loans, yours versus mine, financials, shared resources, spouse's income and trust, power and control, and emotional bonds that are also linked financially in some way. Now, Mars will ingress Scorpio in your 9th house on the 12th of October. And here you could be dealing with more intellectual work or have to defend your beliefs more. You may want to share your views with the world or travel or maybe work abroad or publish something or study something or maybe end the study of something or start a business with imports or exports or some foreign connection. Take a trip. Maybe it involves work or teaching or it would be important now to check with an astrologer if it's safe for you to travel. You may be more interested in researching the deeper meanings of life, philosophy. You may deal more strongly with a father figure or your in-laws at this time. You may preach, or for some this can indicate legal issues. This can involve accidents abroad or actions involving your in-laws and your father, like I said, a teacher or a foreigner, your beliefs or your faith. But the deeper meanings of life will be a focus now. On the 29th of October, Mars will oppose Jupiter in Taurus, which can bring luck or favorable action. You may want to do more physically or in your one-on-one relationships. You can also experience Mars here in more favorable action in your close relationships or business partnerships. Just make sure you act without selfishness, that you stay within your means and not act foolishly. This is a time that you can birth a new kind of connection or partnership or negotiations regarding joint finances or resources. So there could be a breakthrough of some kind or at least some negotiation. On the 12th of November, Mars opposes Uranus in Taurus, and this can bring in a restlessness, a frustration, or an emotional explosion of sorts, or a breakaway energy towards freedom and independence as you or towards you, or this is the final breakaway you've been waiting for, a final release and a victory, but it comes with resistance and it may not be easy at first. In some cases, this can indicate surgery or accidents. Therefore, make sure to exercise safely, use motorized equipment and electricity with care, and take more care of your health. But you can expect the unexpected at this time. Expect surprises. It can involve financial topics, changes in close relationships, joint resources, sex, trust, divorce, accidents, and deaths. 24th of November, Mars will ingress Sagittarius in your 10th house, where you could be working hard on something you're passionate about, or where you may want to work hard because you identify with something quite strongly. Mars here can sometimes indicate an independent project or working on something by yourself or for yourself. There can be more possibility of tension or stress in the workplace with a boss or in a group dynamic with Mars here. It can cause more conflict in some cases between coworkers as well as the public. But some can decide now to quit or change jobs or positions, or rather to work for themselves, as it can feel as if your efforts are being put down. Now, emotional instability can appear now, or emotional outbursts. You can find you're naturally more selfish at this time or having to think more selfishly in order for you to be able to actually do your work. It is important now to be more cooperative if you can and to learn from any criticism you may receive. But you may be making huge progress here if you avoid engaging in the opposition, but to rather have it fuel your determination here to get the job done well. Rather keep your mouth shut and just do it. Let your work speak for you, get the authority on your side, even if you just do it for yourself and your self-confidence. For some, Mars here can have your work go public, or you could be working with the public, or your work could be going viral in some way. Or you may end up ending a partnership or leaving a marriage or meeting someone new. Maybe even while working, there can be a change in your responsibilities in life. Either way, this transit can affect all areas of life because it's angular. It can be conflicts with home and career, partners, and your physical health, your approach to life. This transit will keep you busy, but you'll be able to get much done. But remember that you are more accident prone at work now, so think before you do, or speak, or drive, and take better care of your health. This is all also things that could be affecting a parent at this time. Now, Mars will square Saturn upon its entry into Sagittarius at 0 degrees of Pisces, and this can be frustrating in getting things done. The key is to work slow and steady with consistent progress. Pushing it too hard will not be effective. Some can experience a blockage in their forward progress due to fear of not being good enough. You will have to face who you truly are and not take others' opinions as a validation of who you are. Mars in Sagittarius will also square Neptune in Pisces on the 28th of December. So the year will end on this note where you may feel discouraged or not happy with how something turned out. Doubt or inadequacy could pop its head out. This is a collective energy, so it's not necessarily going to be this way for you, but there could be some confusion. Either way, regardless of whether you made a right or wrong turn, giving up is not an option now. You will have to face yourself, not others, and make the changes you know in your heart is right. You'll have to pray and listen to your intuition. You must not do anything devious to try and fix the situation. And you must take care of your health, as you may feel quite lethargic or even ill or just very disappointed for some. Remind yourself that this too shall pass and that this is, of course, worst case scenario. It can simply be a small disappointment or a hospital visit or the need to talk to someone about the disappointment you're experiencing or the confusion or the lack of direction or whatever sorrow you may be dealing with at this time. Do what you can and surrender the rest to God. I will briefly go over the retrogrades and eclipse houses for the year, as I will also be going over them into more depth and into their nature as the events actually occurred throughout the year. Now, the retrogrades for Mercury are in earth signs this year, so we're focused more on the material realm. We're focused on practical solutions in our material world. And between the 13th of December 2022 and the first week of February, there can be more disruptions and changes in traffic, in communications, in technology, in political avenues, in our infrastructure, in extreme weather patterns, or getting paid for your job well done, or anything to do with that. Now, on the 29th of December 2022, Mercury retrogrades in Capricorn from 24 degrees till the 18th of January to 8 degrees. And this is taking place in your 11th house. But during every Mercury retrograde, as we know, there's misunderstandings or miscommunications and mishaps regarding technology, travel, communication, and so forth. But when it's happening in the sign of Capricorn specifically, it targets the areas of life that Capricorn rules, such as ambition, your work, your career, your life path, your reputation, how the world sees you, your title, whether you're married or not, your marital status. It can also deal with scandals or a fall from grace. So these are all areas that can be dealt with at this time, but for you, there will also be a focus strongly on your 11th house, which is a time where you may have old friends come back into your life in some way unexpectedly. Maybe you can withdraw more from the social scene, whether that's by circumstances or by choice. It may mean that you are spending more time alone to discover who you are, more away from others. So you may not be as much of a socializer at this time. You could maybe taking a step back from social media and being online too much. There's more of a likelihood for misunderstandings with friends or colleagues at this time. And it could be a time where you're really re-evaluating your future goals and how you want to practically take steps towards moving towards your vision for the future. But you may have to redo a few things, replan, go over things again, maybe investigate some more things, research some more things to get your goals back on track, because maybe they are changing now. But this is a time where you can really discover who your real friends are and why you move in the circles that you do. This will be a time where you will realize that people make their own decisions in the end and that you cannot control what others decide to do. But you will recapture dreams here, maybe old dreams, or get re-inspired about your future and rework your dreams. So this is a great time for researching and to get closer to the steps you want to take practically to get closer to your new goals or your grouped and reformed goals. Now, in your third house, there will be a Mercury retrograde in Taurus from the 15th degree to the 5th degree. And this is from the 21st of April until the 14th of May. And this is the area of communication in general. So this is your typical Mercury retrograde where communication, transport, thinking, all of these things are rethought, changed, brought into focus. Your mind can feel very busy. You could be changing your mind a lot. You could be redoing a lot of things. You can be a little bit more worried or nervous sometimes. It's important to gain clarity here by maybe spending some more time in meditation and in prayer and just quieting the mind. Getting more physical with your body, getting more in touch with your body right now will be really good for you to level head the head. But on a deep level, you're working through what you know. So if you're confused at this time or unsure about certain decisions you need to make, you may need to research some more things because you could be missing information. So look for that information. This could be a time where you want to check the condition of your vehicle and also where you could be rerouted on your commutes. So check your water and your oil if you go on a long drive. Repair your car, check the tires. This could be a time where your phone can act up or your computer, or you might need to back up your files more or, upgrade some software. But it's important to not buy a new phone, buy new technology of any kind during a Mercury retrograde. You want to wait till it's direct again, and so also for buying a new vehicle. But it's okay for repairing things. And it's important also to ask questions to ensure you understand what people are saying. Rather use direct communication, pick up the phone, make sure the person gets what you're saying and gets the message. Don't just send an email and maybe it ends up at the wrong place or they don't get it in time. Leave more time for your schedules so that if there's changes in scheduling that you're not thrown off completely, that you can be more flexible and have the time to sort of remedy the situation. Spell check. Yes, just double check all information and all paperwork. And really make sure you're understanding other people's points of view before you maybe go off the deep end, so to speak. And don't say yes when you mean no. But this is also a time where you could reconnect with siblings, especially if things have been difficult between you. You could really reconnect with siblings now, and also with family and friends. Now, on the 23rd of August till the 15th of September, Mercury will retrograde at 21 degrees Virgo to 8 degrees Virgo in your 7th house. And this is the area of marriage, business partnerships, one-on-one connections like a lawyer or a counselor. Now, with Mercury retrograde here, you could be renegotiating any terms in regards to your personal relationships, even unspoken contracts and agreements with them, like whose turn is, who does the dishes when, those kinds of things. So it's very important now to pay attention, to communicate more clearly, to realize that there can be a lot of misunderstandings here. Old issues that you may have left can be coming up now for discussion, so you may have to bite your tongue a bit in some cases. But this is a great time to air your differences of opinion in a more mature and balanced way, and get therapy if you need it. Get a third party involved so you can speak without getting too dramatic about it. It's not a great time to get married or to set a wedding date or get engaged with a Mercury retrograde, because you could still change your mind by the time Mercury is direct. So it's also not important to sign any contracts or anything that you cannot get out of. So if there's any permanent changes that needs to happen, try and make it wait till Mercury is direct at this time. Now on July 22nd till the 3rd of September, Venus will be retrograding in Leo in your 6th house. Now during Venus retrogrades, we are rethinking style, beauty, our values, our self-worth, fairness, justice, choices, partners, food, comfort, pleasure, what we desire, what makes us feel good, nature, money, balance, and of course, love. Now, with Venus retrograding in your 6th house, Venus here will have you purifying your body. And it's a great idea to try like a body, mind, and spirit kind of modality. It can be a great time to detox, to look at what habits, daily habits you have that are not healthy for you, relationships in your daily life that are not good for you. So you could be getting rid of any toxic relationships. You could be rethinking what you eat, your health routines. You could be it could be brought to your attention that you need to purify, maybe drop sugar, drop alcohol. Alcohol is sugar. So this is a time where you can consciously create decisions around negative habits, even overeating or anything like staying up too late or anything that's not good for you. So this will be maybe not such a comfortable retrograde, but it will be abandoning anything toxic and anything that does not support your growth and your physical as well as mental health. Now, Mars will retrograde in Gemini, like I've mentioned, from the 30th of October 2022 until the 12th of January 2023. This is a very long retrograde, and Mars has been in Gemini for a very long time. So it's important to check out that video I mentioned on Mars retrograde in Gemini. It's in the description box below. It affects all of us very personally. But in general, how are you using your energy? How is your drive? Is your work fulfilling? Are you listening to your body? What are you passionate about? What do you need to bring more into your life that's passionate? What do you, or that you are passionate about? What are you spending your energy on? Is it worth it? Are you getting out what you need? Now for you, this is also happening in your 4th house of home and family. And so you could be expressing quite a lot of anger towards those you live with during the Mars retrograde. Well, it's not good to let things fester here. It could be a good time to practice more compromise and compassion in this area, even when it's not really feeling like you would like to. But you could feel frustrated in your home in some way. There could be a competitiveness or a selfish energy of some kind. But it's important now to redirect that energy towards rather completing home improvement projects, maybe that you haven't been able to get to, dealing with any emotional childhood patterns that could be subconsciously controlling you, or just really looking at where there's any imbalances in the home area and maybe discussing them with your family members when you are not angry or hurt. But you will be reworking this area of life quite extensively with Mars retrograde here. Now, during Jupiter retrogrades, we can be more in tune with the deeper meaning of life, deeper values and beliefs, and we can want to connect more on a spiritual level. We have to work a little harder for our opportunities. We benefit more on a spiritual level. We become more compassionate, generous, more inward reflecting on what is good and wholesome and true. We become more contemplative and try to do good and see good in others. But we must also be careful of not being used or being too forgiving and compassionate. Now, Jupiter rules your chart and therefore has more impact on you than possibly on others' charts that do not have Jupiter on as a ruler of their chart. Now, Jupiter will retrograde from the 4th of September till the 30th of December, from 15 degrees Taurus to 5 degrees Taurus, and this is in your 3rd house. Now, with Jupiter retrograding in your 3rd house, Here you could also be asking yourself, where is it in your community or in your everyday communications with people that you deal with every day? Where can you be more compassionate? And where can you be more helpful? Where can you help others to grow? Help others to become stronger? So this is a time where you can get more involved in your local community or speak truth on issues that's important. You could also be changing your mind on a lot of things here, really going inward. Also in your faith, you could be spending a lot of time thinking about the afterlife, the spiritual realm, issues with faith. There could be a real inward energy here also in regards to a sibling, and maybe you are spending more time here healing relationships with siblings and family, and also just getting more in touch with your spiritual mind at this time. Now, usually during Saturn retrogrades, we are reminded of reality, the aspects of life we cannot avoid, rules, responsibilities, length of life, taxes, restrictions, authority, time itself, commitments, and so forth, even fear. Now, Saturn will retrograde from 17 January till the 4th of November at 7 degrees of Pisces to 0 degrees Pisces, and this is in your first house. So this is a time where self-organization could be key. And this is also an area where you want to let go of anything that is not realistic. There can be a lot of frustration at this time. There can be karmic events at this time. It's very important now to practice patience and to not force things, and to just go with the flow and to trust your instincts at this time. But this can be a time where you're really going inward and mastering your sense of self. Now, eclipses will be happening in Taurus and Scorpio and Aries and Libra this year, as the nodes will be moving into Aries and Libra in the middle of the year. And I will be going into more depth about the nature and the areas of life that these eclipses will be happening for you, which is the areas of big change for you. Now, it's also important to remember that eclipses are activated at the time of the eclipse, but they can start unfolding 6 months prior to 6 months post. So it's not necessarily that something is going to happen on that day. It can happen before or after, and for some on that day. But these are the areas of big change for you, and you can keep an eye on these areas of your life as they will experience great change. Now, on the 20th of April, there will be an annular total solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Aries in your second house. And this can be new beginnings, changes, turnarounds, and breakthroughs in the area of work, finances, income, investments, property, possessions, resources, talents, self-worth, your close relationships, confidence, talents, like I said, throat, voice, thyroid, your eating habits, your intake habits, your family lineage, even your spouse or committed partner. So you have a new or a change in work, a breakthrough in your finances. You may decide to buy a new house or gain a new skill in order to improve your finances, changes and new beginnings in this area. Now on the 5th of May, there's a penumbral lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Scorpio in your 9th house. And this is an ending or a culmination or something coming to light, something that's coming to a fullness or completion maybe the ending of an old belief pattern, or finishing a study course, or finishing preaching overseas or teaching, ending a trip, ending of a second marriage, or finalizing your immigration or paperwork regarding travel or import and export, finishing a book and getting ready to publish it, done with a trip, saying goodbye to a father figure, or ending in the area of your in-laws, or a father or a point of view, changing how you see the bigger picture of life now, your life and that of everything at large, the afterlife, the spiritual world. Your intuition may increase. You could get extremely powerful downloads from the divine. A change in how you see the world around you and how you understand and experience the meaning of life. Quite powerful. On the 14th of October, there's an annular solar eclipse at 21 degrees of Libra in your 8th house. And this is new beginnings, changes, turnarounds, and breakthroughs in the area of partnerships and of agreements, shared resources, shared finances, changes in investments, death and rebirth in this area. A traumatic event or an experience that affects you very deeply can occur. That can change how you trust, how you let your guard down intimately. It can deal with inheritance. You can have a new sense of intimacy, a deep sexual or sensual experience, a new relationship or partner, even in business, or a new beginning or fresh start or change or breakthrough in a relationship to allow for new growth. Maybe the letting go of something very traumatic in your past and healing that and moving past it. This eclipse season will personally transform you from the inside out. On the 28th of October, there will be a partial lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Taurus in your 3rd house. And this is a culmination, an ending, or something coming to light or completion or full circle in the area of your mind, your understanding. A finalization of paperwork, a course of study or teaching, a topic concerning a relative or a sibling or a friend or a neighbor, construction ending in your neighborhood, or a change in your vehicle or commute to work, a move, finishing a social media post, or done writing a book, quitting an online job or finishing an online course, change involving a technology or training in some way, even an online romance, or the crash of a computer, time for a new one, something like that. Now, I would like to thank you for listening, Pisces. You are reorganizing your home life, revolutionizing your mind, and evaluating your relationships. The deep and meaningful spiritual side of life comes to the fore. You are finishing things up, endings and more responsibilities, but breakthroughs in your everyday life. Possible financial growth and self-confidence awaits in 2023. May the sun shine bright on you this day. May there be blessings coming your way. May 2023 be a wonderful year for you. Until next time, bye-bye.